us at SonderIMMERSIVE would like to acknowledge the unprecedented time within which we are making art. This show was conceived and created specifically within and in response to a global pandemic in which so much of our lives have been limited, including physical social contact. In order to create this work so rapidly, much of what you will see tonight incorporates elements of improvisation. Sparked by the murder of George Floyd and so many others, we have entered a long overdue global demand for legal and cultural action against systemic racism and police brutality toward African Americans and people of color. We stand in solidarity against all acts of racial violence. A portion of ticket sales for the run of Through Yonder Window will be donated to the Black Lives Matter Foundation. We continue making art in these difficult moments because it connects us to our humanity, our complexity, and our compassion. We dance, we tell stories, we gather, we laugh, we cry, we contemplate, we challenge, we rage, we celebrate. Thank you for being here. After a moment of silence, we will begin tonight's performance.
Please be sure your engine is off, key engaged in its first accessory position, radio tuned to the station you were given, headlights off, and emergency brake engaged. For the purposes of airflow, you may want to at least crack your windows, but do not open your doors at any time. While you will be remaining in your vehicle for the duration of the experience, you are nonetheless about to embark on a journey that is entirely your own and no one else's. As in real life, every character you will witness has a full story of their own, with complicated relationships, choices, and responses that will play out all around you. But depending on who you see, when, and how often, some of them will become more prominent to your experience than others. You will choose where to focus your attention, and fortune does favor the focus. There is a lot to see. It may be easy to become distracted, get chatty, or to try and see everything all of the time. It is up to you how you approach your experience, but be aware that if you spend the whole time scanning everything, you run the risk of not deeply experiencing anything. Know the characters will move in and out of your sight. Rather than worrying about what you are not seeing, we encourage you to fully invest in what you do experience. Each parking spot and each direction you choose to look provides different stories. But don't worry, there are no wrong choices. We encourage you to put your phones on airplane mode so as not to be distracted by outside texts, etc. You are welcome to take photos discreetly, but we caution you to not let them distract you from your live experience. If you post anything on social media, please tag us at #SonderIMMERSIVESLC or use the hashtag #ThroughYonderWindowSLC. This is a 60-minute experience. If in the case of an emergency you must leave, flash your headlights repeatedly. The show will have to be paused and you will be guided out of Verona. At the end of tonight's experience, please do not turn on your engine until instructed to do so. Again, thank you and enjoy Through Yonder Window.
And the most trusted confidant is often no more than a few steps behind her, Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence has dedicated his entire life to the running and managing of Verona's only church. Often considered the heart of the community, most of Friar Lawrence's time is spent sanitizing hands and cleansing souls. Even Lord Montague comes to Friar Lawrence for advice and guidance. Although many consider him their friend, in his heart, Friar Lawrence only has one friend, Maria, who not only helps him with his many tasks, but also keeps him organized and on task. Friar Lawrence readily admits that the church would have crumbled long ago without Maria's help, who is also in the business of saving souls, but doesn't see how a church would be of much use in that endeavor. Mercutio preaches love and acceptance, connection in a time of distance, and can often be seen writing these sermons in chalk on his nightclub. Trouble, without it looking like getting into trouble. The fourth most anxious person to greet the morning of Verona is Tybalt, Juliet's slightly older Capulet cousin. If Mercutio preaches love and acceptance, Tybalt preaches mistrust and distance. Fearful of the plagues that have ravaged for generations in Verona, Tybalt sees strict enforcement of the rules as life-saving work and is willing to do whatever it takes to make sure the community follows the rules set by their progenitors. Even now, before most have awakened, Tybalt carefully monitors Mercutio, who is so carefree that Tybalt can think of little else. As the morning draws on, Lord Montague takes his daily stroll through town, which he considers his first child. In Lord Montague's eye, Verona was built on the backs of the Montagues, whose sacrifice and dedication have saved the community from utter destruction by plague. He can trace the first face mask to a Montague, the first hand sanitizer to a Montague. Even the first air handshake was performed by a great-great-great-granduncle. And as a friar, Lord Montague couldn't be prouder of Verona. The same can't be said of his son Romeo, with whom Lord Montague is not very impressed. Lady Capulets couldn't care less about heritage. She is forward-thinking. She sees the future of Verona and has built an empire realizing that future. The Montagues may have invented it, but she was going to perfect it. And in order to perfect it, she must be a model of what that perfection looks like. Forget the plague. She's never even gotten a cold. Regrettably, her dedication to her work meant she doesn't have much time to spend with her daughter, Juliet. But when they do spend time together, you better believe it is the best mother-daughter time in the whole damn city. Juliet does not care what her mother thinks, and learned long ago not to listen. Juliet longs for an exotic land where there are no last names and you can be anyone you choose, where you can choose anyone to be with, where there are no boundaries to seeing or reading or touching or kissing or dreaming. She knows no such land exists, but she also learned that you can make the world you want from a mother, and there's finding someone to share the world with from Maria. And if you're lucky and visit Verona late in the day, you might catch a glimpse of Romeo, who has spent his life wondering what all the fuss is about, and wishes he had the courage to figure out life on his own terms. And while trying to maintain a 6 feet radius with all others is maddening, it isn't as terrifying as being alone. And rumor has it that there is a group of people desperate enough to risk the plague who are meeting tonight in a desperate attempt to connect in a place where connection is forbidden. Romeo and Juliet fall in love on a balcony. Lady Capulet and Lord Montague unwittingly fall. Mercutio falls for a misunderstood enemy. Maria and Friar Lawrence share a love they fell for long ago.
Romeo Montague? Are your hearts truly bound by love? Is that love, like the apothecary's red vial, a powerful sedative that renders the body inert but allows the soul to return? Or is it like the green vial of the fraud, poison that removes the soul forever? Choose one. Upon first taste, one is indistinguishable from the other. And if we choose foolishly, may our death be swift.
Killing. Mercutio intercepts Tybalt and tries to kill Tybalt's rage.
I'm more interested in how you're doing. How are you?
Wanted to make our hands decided to tickle first.
Oh no.
And then Capulets.
We were at a party last night and I met somebody.
I did hear that you met a sweet man at the party last night. Is that what you're
Oh
talking
no.
about?
It was meet someone and then someone turned away, you know.
I did hear that you were still going yourself or her when you were trying to show Maria how much
Lady Capulets Enterprises. It could ruin my life lively and I should her of all the Capulets. And if I had you, I think that would be now there's something worth the plague of, am I right?
You deserve to die alone.
Right? Of course, right?
So you really have feelings for this guy, right?
Excuse me! Friar! I'd like to have a confession. You!
Yes, of course.
I will take care of this.
No.
Oh, I will take care of this.
I'd like to have a confession with you! A large donation might be in order. If I could just confess to the friar!
May grace be on our souls and fill the space between us.
And may grace be in the sky above and in the sea below.
And may it flow like a river.
Yes, like a river that just flooded because a beaver dam broke and the city's just flooding. People are dying from all the grace.
And decades they'll be talking about how much grace destroyed the town.
And may grace be on our troops.
And the minorities.
And may grace be upon me for having to deal with these two idiots.
I'm sorry, Friar.
Sorry.
My hands are dirty. I called Lord Montague a fat-faced loser.
Well, I called her a bulldog.
And then I called him clever, sarcastically, and told him that if I had a nickel for every time I was called a bulldog, I'd have every nickel ever made. And the rush to print new ones would crash the economy faster than the plague did.
Yeah? Well, we met a fat-faced loser.
Yes, you are. That's why I stand by my comment.
No, but no, I would. No, I would. Well, I think we can all agree that Maria is wonderful.
Agreed. But what I can't agree on is that I
I
regret.
have hope for revenge against Romeo. If thou hast strength of will to undertake a thing like death, I'll give thee remedy. Go home and this sleeping potion drink. No warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest. And by your letters, blame Romeo for thy resolution to slay thyself with poison. And Romeo will then be forever tormented with guilt.
each couple reunites, few survive.